And then like we also say like if you live too long, because like I'm getting into the space where I'm learning again about like senior living services. And a lot of times we're seeing that people are not prepared to age. People are not
Mm,
prepared to get old. You're not prepared to need extra assistance because as you get old, you become dependent. So now you're not working, right? So you lose the income. And then two, you need assistance. So you don't have income coming in, but you're going to need to spend more because you can't take care of yourself. And so, like, do you have something in place that you can tap into when you start aging, when you start needing that extra assistance? Or are you just going to be 100% a total burden to your loved ones? Because it gets stressful. It gets stressful, and you have caregiver fatigue, and you're depleting your pockets. They love you, but elderly care is not cheap. So like I always tell people, like when you think about life insurance, think about three things. One, can it protect your loved ones if you when you pass away? Two, can it protect you if you get sick along the way? And three, can it protect you if you live too long?
that's deep.
Yes.
Living too long. I love the way you phrase that. So I think with me, one thing I always like to do is clearly define things because I know you've kind of touched on it on a few
Yes.
points, but can you make it clear for our listeners what exactly is life insurance and um and why is it essential to financial planning, especially for immigrants and their families? Because as I know you mentioned earlier, a lot of us, because of where we're coming from, because of where our families are from, historically, there are certain things that we just didn't have access to because of, the environments we're coming from, the cultural upbringing, and different things like that. But it isn't until, of course, we found ourselves in the countries that we're in the diaspora, where we do have, better access to some of these things, whereas in our home countries, we might not have those same access. So just, if you can just explain, make it plain what exactly life insurance is and how can it be used as a tool for financial planning.
So all right, so life insurance is a financial reserve on your life so that when something happens to you, if and when it happens, you can tap into something. Either you can tap into that financial reserve to take care of yourself, or your loved ones can tap into that to take care of yourself. Now, when you think about it, like as an immigrant, a lot of our parents and a lot of us came to this country for greener pastures. You're probably coming here with not much knowledge about like finances. You're coming here with basically nothing to your name because you're coming and you're starting over. I say that in terms of building wealth, life insurance is one of the things that levels the playing field because this is money that you can tap into, or your descendants or whoever your beneficiary is can tap into completely tax free. It is money that you don't have to go to court to justify. You don't have to fight it. You're not like going back and forth with the IRS trying to justify where all of this money came from. No. Once you get that check, once you get that amount assigned to your name, whoever is supposed to get it accesses that money 100% tax free, and they can do with it whatever they wish to do with it. Now, you think about immigrants, we come to this country and we work so hard. Like, we grew up watching our parents work two, three jobs to break even, to take care of us, to put a roof over our heads. And we are all noticing and realizing that working all of these jobs doesn't necessarily guarantee like financial freedom. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're setting up the next generation. I am extremely grateful for the fact that they were able to provide us with a baseline. So we are definitely starting better than where they started. But when you think about, like, okay, you see the people who have like extreme wealth, like the Rockefellers and um, the Trump family and all of that. Like you see how much wealth they have, and it's like, how would you ever catch up to that place? How would you ever catch up to a place where your loved ones don't have to worry about the day to day, don't have to worry about like school loans, don't have to worry about, hey, I want to go purchase a car. So you can do this in a couple of different ways. But I think that what life insurance does is that if and when something happens to you, you automatically tap into that so that your loved ones are just much more in a better place. Like, it's hard to explain because there's so many different types of life insurance. And this is another reason why, like, when I see how life insurance is sold, it kind of breaks my heart, because a lot of times they're trying to sell you the cheapest quote possible, which is good, because if you don't have anything, put something on your life. But if you think about using insurance to create that generational wealth, using insurance to pass it on to your loved ones, you have to think of permanent. You have to think of permanent, because it is impermanent that you can grow the cash value of your policy. It is impermanent that you know that you have protection on your life no matter what happens. It doesn't matter if you get the permanent policy when you're 3 years old. For the rest of your life, you have that money on your life. So no matter what happens to you, even if like you pass away at 50, even if you get sick at 90, you have that financial reserve regardless. When you get like a term policy, it was there for a certain number of years, and then when you pass away, you pretty much mean it's not a guarantee that you have access to that money as well.